I want to start with a subject that I am sure is on most of your minds, and that is the matter of the screening. With the cap of the formateur, I want to apprise you of the status, but at the same time, I need to respect the confidentiality of the screening process and those involved. However, what I can say at this stage, firstly, let me reverse a minute, and what I can say at this stage is that my hopes are still set on finalizing this process by the end of this week. And if your comment to that would be, but you stated, Mrs. Formateur, that your task was over already and you presented a report to the governor. Yes, indeed, that was the case. However, over the years, awareness into this process has grown. And many, if not most, candidate ministers are not willing to just accept that based on the information available, we will not put your name forward. So candidate ministers, if this happens to be the case, are questioning, and rightfully so, in my opinion. The dynamics in terms of the entire screening process are changing. We have learned a lot over the years since when we started with this screening in 2010. As you know, it was regulated, it still is in fact regulated by a national decree. This is not a law, it is by a decision of the government. So a national decree, commonly called a LB, that's how the screening process is regulated currently. On more than one occasion, you would have heard me state that it is my opinion that we should bring the pre-screening of ministers, we should bring it into law. Currently, there is a law that is called Promotion of Integrity of Ministers. There is a law passed by Parliament. In fact, this law was passed by the Island Council, so then become effective as of 2010. So you have that law, you have that national ordinance. Other than, for example, Curacao also has a law that regulates integrity of ministers. However, that law includes the pre-screening of candidate ministers as well as the behavior of ministers once they are appointed. What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to file? So I think that we should also go over to create one law that includes the pre-screening, so screening before someone is appointed minister, as well as following the appointment as minister. So we are in that phase where a report has been made up. At the end of the day, reports are submitted and they are then looked at by the formateur, of course, and who will then present his or her findings to the governor. At the end of the day, however, there must be some consensus with respect to the reports and how you approach it, because the appointment of a minister does not happen by the formateur, it does not happen by Parliament, it actually happens by the same LB, the same national decree. In other words, it happens by the government to be co-signed by the governor. So that is why it is so important that a final conclusion, let me call it that, is reached between the formateur and the governor. Other than sometimes it is being portrayed, there is not a checklist as such. Let's say a checklist of 10 points and it is checked off. If you pass 6 of the 10 points, then you have passed the screening, and if you don't, you have failed. That's not the way that it goes. It's a process, it's information, and then you receive information as well from especially the services of the National Security and the public prosecutor. So without wanting to especially go into any individual candidate for minister, I just want to mention that over the years, what I have seen is that the dynamics have changed, and again, persons are not willing to just accept, well, based on the information that we have, we don't want to consider your appointment. When this is said, then persons question, okay, what is it all about? What is the information? And are seeking ways of recourse, are seeking ways, if at all possible, to challenge the information regarding themselves.